Hello, my name is Mike Kreider. I'm principal at Southwestern Randolph Middle School, and I wanted to read through a speech that I wrote for 8th grade today. This is my 12th year as principal, and every year I write a speech for the outgoing 8th grade class, just something that I feel like they need to hear. And so I try to make it specific to them, I try to make it unique, and for all intents and purposes, I gave it today, and I told them that I might try to upload this because why not? So, at any rate, the 8th grade speech, Southwestern Randolph Middle School 2026, the title is Please Like and Subscribe. The length of a generation is approximate and vague, and it's kind of understood to be about 15 years or so. Since we are all about using reliable resources for this type of information, I used Reddit. Reddit indicates that millennials were born between 1981 and 1996. And if this is true, this makes me among the oldest millennials as I turn 45 next month. However, Generation Z is loosely defined as individuals born between 1997 and 2012. If we use this range for our purpose today, that means that your class, the 8th grade class, is kind of at the tail end of Gen Z. So your generation and mine do not have much in common if we're being completely honest. After all, I remember being in 8th grade in 1995. I remember a world with Blockbuster Video, no internet, and blowing on Nintendo games to make them work. I remember teaching my mother how to use a computer, and we had to start with my mom writing down on paper, how do you turn this thing on? I even remember when going into restaurants as a kid, the first question that they would ask you is smoking or non-smoking, because there were actual sections of the restaurant where you could smoke actual cigarettes back in the day. That's probably a world that you would struggle to even imagine, yet it existed 30 years ago. The truth is, plenty of people in my generation, not myself, but other people, tend to think that Generation Z is a little soft. After all, my understanding is that people in your generation get triggered when a text ends with a period. To my generation, that's the end of a sentence. I've been asked if I would go back to being young again if I had the opportunity, and I can answer with absolute certainty, no. Would I like being physically 21 again? Sure, I'd sign up for that. But I will admit I don't even speak your language. Seriously, your generation does weird stuff with words. 6'7", saying low-key when everyone thinks that something is fire, and so if everybody says it's fire, it's not really low-key anymore, is it? Right? You literally say literally, too much. And I was born in Ohio. It's not Sigma. It's a state, bruh. I don't even know what this is, but the stuff that you all say, it's kind of low-key chopped. However, older generations critiquing others, or younger ones, is not a new concept. One social commentator said that young people have not been humbled by life or learned its necessary limitations. That person went on to say, they overdo everything. They love too much, they hate too much, and the same with everything else. Well, chat, who on earth would say something like that about you all? Those quotes were attributed to a Greek philosopher named Aristotle. He died in 322 BC. So as it turns out, we as a human species have made it a point of criticizing the generation beneath us through the course of time. You should hear what the boomers say about me and your parents. Actually, there's a larger reason that I wouldn't want to relive my youth, particularly in 2026. I cannot imagine how different my life would have been with a smartphone in my pocket at 14. When I made mistakes, when I was embarrassed, when I was not the best version of myself, most of that is only captured in one database, the memories in my brain. There is no digital evidence of my youth, only things that were videotaped with my consent, or photos taken by cameras that were too big and too slow to sneak in or hide. In other words, my identity was not predicated on what people were posting and saying about me because there was no social media. I did not have to live my teenage years valuing likes because it was more important to be likable and to get along with others. So when it comes to how you are growing up, your generation should get some grace, and especially for me. Establishing an identity and learning how to interact with others in the age of smartphones and social media is a challenge that your generation has pioneered, and I would like to add, without your consent. You have access to anyone at any time, any place, and yet you feel disconnected. And the stuff that's supposed to help you interact with others, there's actual research that indicates social media is addictive and even harmful, especially to people in your age range without the appropriate guardrails. So much so that it's prompted multi-billion-dollar lawsuits on your behalf. So how does your generation navigate this new frontier? One way comes from someone born at the front end of your generation. In 2016, James Stephen Donaldson dropped out of Pitt Community College to study one particular algorithm: how to increase the views and likes of videos uploaded to YouTube. His first viral video was a 40-hour marathon of him counting from 1 to 100,000. He's now 28 and has almost 500 million subscribers. You probably know him better as Mr. Beast. Now, Forbes magazine estimates his net worth to be $2.6 billion as of earlier this year. But when someone like Mr. Beast is trying to accumulate views, likes, and subscribers, he isn't doing that because his identity is fragile. He's merely making a business decision. This is probably a time to remind you that you are not Mr. Beast. It doesn't mean you can't be. It just means that you aren't right now. So what do you do? This is why old heads like me exist. I'm going to give you only 2 pieces of advice because I know you're probably already thinking that I need to put the fries in the bag. The first point: legendary NFL analyst and former New York Jets head coach Herman Edwards was asked what advice he would give to rookies entering the National Football League. His response: don't hit send. His point was that before you hit post, send, or whatever it is online, think about it first. What do you want it to mean to that person, and are you sure that you're prepared for how anyone and or everyone could react to it? And point number 2, learn how to take constructive criticism. Our school system's career and technology, or technical education, CTE director, one of the main complaints that he has received, and this is a guy who's in charge of placing interns for apprenticeships within our school system among high school students. So one of the main complaints he's heard from prospective employers was that this generation doesn't know how to take criticism and feedback. They crumble and they have no confidence, and they end up leaving before they have a chance to get better. Now, feedback and criticism, those are part of evolving and progressing and making yourself better. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. While I was pursuing my doctorate less than 2 years ago, a professor who ended up being the chair of my dissertation committee said, look, you're a good writer, but cut the crap and get to the point. It was hard to hear, especially as an adult in their 40s, but not only was it true, it was also said to make me a better research writer. Yes, you have to decipher what is meant to make you better and what is said just to diss you. But generally speaking, employers and teachers want to see you level up. Especially among employers, if they hire good people, they have to spend less time dealing with issues and hiring vacant positions. When they critique, they are making a business decision. Not all criticism is personal. Most of it, as you get older, is healthy to survive and adapt. You could say that you don't farm for aura, you make your own. So, at the conclusion of the day today, middle school is over for you. And I've said this to every 8th grade class for 12 years now. I love you, I care about you, and I'll be rooting for you every step of the way. And wherever you go, and whatever you might do, you will always be my students. But if you find that this was useful to you, I may record it and upload it to YouTube. And if so, slam that notification button, and please like and subscribe. Thank you.